Sean, you said it was fast kick-off, right? Come on, thanks. Just checking the ball pressure for you. Just checking the pressure of the ball, yeah. I think it's good. Yeah, Simon, I hear you. Cheers, thanks, Can you give it a heads up as to which side you're going?
An excellent match.
Advantage off his feet. No advantage. Off feet, continuing to play the ball. You must be on your feet. Just be careful, kicker, okay, look.
Banahan is in great form right now. Rokandanguni not part of the equation today. Lots and lots of options. That's forwards from Dom Day.
There was a nice little chip up into the air from Flood. Dom Day really didn't own the space in front of the kick. Ended up trying to catch the ball front on, and the pressure from Dusatoir just making him knock it forward. He needs to be in front of the ball, with the ball almost dropping behind him, so that as they make that collision, Dusatoir almost knocks him back towards the ball.
So the first scrum of the afternoon, and some heavyweight meetings. Steenkamp against Wilson, James against Johnston. The Bath Pack, for the most part this season, have been enjoying the set piece. Not the most stable of platforms for Picamol, but away they go. And this man is very dangerous. Uge scored a couple of cracking tries in the opening round of their campaign against Montpellier. Now they're inside the 22. McAllister, on as they go. Forwards from Corey Flynn. A let-off for Bath, just as Toulouse were threatening.
Yeah, quite worrying for Bath as well. It looked like they were going forward in the scrum, but then Picamol just had the ability to break off the back. Blocking by Toussaint really stopped Cook from getting his hands on him early. And then, as you see, the Bath front five are just filling in the midfield. Opportunity to go wide, but the defence is reorganised in time.
There's Census Johnston, all 21.5 stone of him. Formerly of Saracens, of course, where his brother's now plying his trade. Away from Houston for Chris Cook. Banahan with the chase. Maydar safe. Thought about linking up with Uge and then fancies a crack at him himself, over halfway. Flood. Quickly onwards and nicely out of the back door from Maestri, but Bath with a chance to counter-attack. George Ford having to concern himself with the attentions of Nyanga. And here's Jonathan Joseph.
Well, it turns out to be a good decision from Bath. Coming here with the idea of playing high tempo doesn't mean you have to take unnecessary risks in your own 22. If it's on to go, then go, but if you're in two minds, definitely look for the territory first and foremost. Try and, as you said, Ben, get this crowd back on the shoulders of the Toulouse side rather than behind them, pushing them around the field.
Equally, Toulouse, we've seen as the season's gone on, they played a much more conservative style when things weren't going well for them in the top 14. They almost didn't want to play too much. I think they've realised now that that's not what Toulouse are all about, and they're starting to really try to play, and we've seen in the last 5 minutes or so them attacking Bath really well.
Played an excellent attacking brand of rugby last week in the win over La Rochelle. It was quite a narrow victory for them, but they scored some terrific tries. Adventurous, expansive stuff. Cook for Joseph. Watson looking to find Aguja. Good power from Aguja, half through the tackle of Uge. Ford. Houston picked up by Cook. Oh, opportunities here. Francois Lowe swings it wide. Banahan, he's in. Terrific stuff from Bath, making the most of their opportunities. Banahan in acres of space out wide.
Oh, that's a stunning try. All caused initially from Bath. Exceptional use. They've been so good all year at using those decoy runners. Good take in the air. And then here, look at the number of options. Ball goes through and behind. They take out a couple of players, fast hands. And then as Lowe gets the ball, he makes the tough decision to go wide. Could have easily given it to Garvey, who would have potentially been caught. And Banahan has got the power and the pace to drive his way and try and make the kick a little bit easier for Ford.
How good was the pass from Francois Lowe? A back rower throwing a 25-yard pass. Banahan didn't have to break stride. Wonderful piece of individual skill throughout the Bath side to create that.
So George Ford, a man, of course, under the microscope with the Six Nations looming. This very much a part of the game that he has been tightening or trying to tighten. No bother for George Ford, and what a start for the visitors, really drawing the sting from the Stade Ernest Vallon. They've gone very quiet very quickly, and Bath have quite a platform to build from. Sort of start really they could only have dreamt of. The situation in the pool is an interesting one, of course, with Glasgow having beaten Montpellier earlier today. A 3-try win, so no bonus point, but they're up to 14 points, just 2 behind Toulouse. Bath on 10. Needing the win, preferably with a bonus today. If they can get that would be terrific, with Glasgow coming to the wreck next weekend. But Toulouse will have other ideas. There will be plenty of fight in them yet. Toulousain for McAllister and Johnston on the charge. It's gone forwards and their handling's letting them down.
Bath are a little bit fortunate there, because the second kickoff that they've been unable to deal with. Toulouse, definitely seeing the kickoff as an opportunity to make a turnover. And that short ball from Toby Flood's been really effective. And then once they're in behind, Bath slow to set up. They've almost got to absorb the tackles. Unfortunately, that man there couldn't hold the ball in midfield.
No shortage of muscle power in the Toulouse pack. Johnston, Steenkamp, Takori, Maestri, Picamoli got The likes of Galan and Albacete lying in wait on the bench as well. Cook through the arms of George Ford, and Watson did well to hang on, but he's under pressure here. The turnover, well, the penalty. And that does not look good for Anthony Watson, who's still down on the field. Very anxious moments as he juggled the ball and then landed very awkwardly on the knee by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's a nasty collision. It was a secondary nasty collision for George Ford as he attempted to stop Pickamoles at full tilt and was swatted away.
There's Jan David. Couple of tries last week for him against La Rochelle. He's a powerful man in the midfield, and suggestion this week that Guy Novès, the Toulouse coach, had actually picked him in anticipation of Sam Burgess lining up in the outside centre channel for Bath this afternoon. He hasn't trained a great deal this week, so he's not part of the game plan, not part of the 23. Anthony Watson now sitting up. Become a very important cog in the Bath wheel. So a head injury assessment for Anthony Watson. It's been one of the potent strike forces as far as Bath are concerned this season, beaten more defenders in Europe than anybody else to date. But he's off the field for the moment, and Oli Devoto comes on in his place. In the meantime, Toulouse on the attack. Maestri with the take. Corey Flynn, the All Black hooker.
That's brilliant defence from Bath. Initially they got Toulouse running backwards. Unfortunately, it looks like they've given away the penalty. David Wilson coming in at the side.
Toulousain just looks up and assesses the option for a minute or two before deciding on handing the ball to Toby Flood.
He's very hot on side entry, George Clancy, particularly at the breakdown as well. And it means that when you're trying to defend a driving line out, difficult to do. We saw Bath last time get it running backwards, but Toulouse weathered the storm, came back at them. Clancy decided that Wilson's intervention wasn't legal. Now it's going to be even harder, so close to the line.
Again, the line out secure for the home side, and good progress being made now. Bath in trouble. They're splintering. Toulouse are driving hard.
Really difficult to see, and just the way the bodies have landed. The front almost favours. Oh, it's going off a bit, little bit.
It's like Horacio Aguja and Louis Picamol are disagreeing.
Aguja trying to tell the referee it wasn't a try. It's got caught up in something. Francois Lowe did it. Just listen to what the referee's going to ask. So it's a benefit of the doubt decision by the question that's asked. He thinks he's seen it grounded. Have you got a better angle? Francois Lowe did really well to get in there, but he needed assistance and he didn't need outward pulling from behind. Webber gets in under there, but fantastic leg drive from the Toulouse players.
It looks like Johan Maestri might be the man tucked in behind Doucetoir and Picamol driving them forwards.
I'm not sure Webber comes in legally anyway. And you could argue that Webber's the only one who is going to prevent that being scored, and the probability would have been it would have been scored anyway.
George Clancy in conversation with the television match official today, Simon McDowell. Looks like a further look is required.
Yeah, Webber's certainly not come in from the hindmost feet.
Well, the natives are getting a little restless now. They want a decision, and they want it in the affirmative. They will have it in the affirmative. Johan Maestri is awarded the score, and Toulouse bite back.
And ominous really for Bath, because both lineouts there, they'd defended reasonably well initially, but Toulouse just were able to ride the storm and take the Bath defenders with them, even though they've managed to get in amongst the ball.
A far from easy kick for the new recruit, Toby Flood. They've been preferring Luke McAllister at fly half for much of the season. Flood's the man today. An excellent kick from the former Leicester man. Bags of European nous and experience, making it the full 7 points, and now just 3 the difference.
Well, the Bath mindset now has to be, we can't afford to give away penalties. We've got to be disciplined. We can't let Toulouse have opportunities to kick into our 22 and have a pop at us with the driving maul.
Medar claiming the restart. Here is Ford sending it upwards again, and Aguja is chasing. Taken in by Doucet. Medar.
Good matchup from Medar there. Spotted that all the Bath front 5 were the defensive line, decided to go, but now they've taken the wrong decision and been wounded into touch.
Outstanding line speed from Dominic Day. Caught Toby Flood.
Forced him to pass the ball forwards as well by the looks of things. Anthony Watson readying himself to return. So good news for Bath, good news for England of course as well. Watson, one of those expected to start against the Welsh in the opening Six Nations game in Cardiff. So it is going to be the line out rather than the forward pass decision. Atwood clinging onto it with his fingertips. Garvey and Webber breaking away, and this is the hooker on the charge, looking to force his way into England contention. Ford coming round off his wing is Banahan, nicely offloaded to Eastman, who also is freeing his arms up. Similar position to the one that they struck from not so long ago with the opening score. Cook for Ford, who's changing the direction, and Joseph caught man and ball. Eastman trying to correct things. Ford again, onwards to Houston. Being held up. The attempted strip from Toulouse, but Bath do still have it. Crowd don't like it, referee's happy. Eastman's, that was aimed for Banahan and blocked. And Cook is caught in no uncertain terms. Francois Lowe. Everybody packed into, well, not quite a 15-metre channel, but not far short of it.
Really good line speed from Toulouse, putting Bath under a lot of pressure at first and second receiver. And constantly running past those decoy runners. Bath have really good frontline decoys. Toulouse just not buying them at the minute, running straight through and then putting Eastman and Ford under loads and loads of pressure. As we saw, Eastman tried to put that wide kick in for Banahan, gets charged down, and Bath have been pushed back 25 metres.
With Ford, as the game goes on, we can see the charge down here from Flood. That was Eastman under a bit of pressure. There was a lot of black shirts outside him and only one white shirt went for the crossfield kick. But actually with Ford there, if they continue to bypass the decoy runners, he's got the ability to make that decision late, Austin, and put them through a hole.
Yeah, he has. Almost comes from first receiver from Cook's got to start picking out a few of the forwards. They were nice there around the corner, and this is a prime attacking situation, especially with Eastman running on an arc on the outside.
Good solidity to that scrum from Bath. Ford picks out Eastman's, dribbles it through for Banahan. It's just going to beat him.
The understanding between the Bath backline really strong there. Banahan making the call. Eastman able to read him and just dab that outside of the right boot ball through. And as you said, just a little bit too much onto it.
He's been in great form recently, Matt Banahan. A hat-trick, of course, against Montpellier at the Rec. He's been scoring for fun. And Toulouse working hard, just around about 8 metres away from their own try line. Atwood looking to spoil things.
It's a silly penalty to give away. He's saying that he's asking the toucher if he's okay. He's asked Clancy whether he's okay. You've just got to let go of the ball. It's infuriating for the coaches that you've got them trapped in Coffin Corner, 5 metres from their own line. Unless Dave Atwood can defy gravity, there's no way he's on his feet there.
Strange decision to be clinging on in that situation. Here's Corey Flynn going to the tail and the springy Nyanga. It's messy for Flood. Douce-Autois. A lot of talk about him over the last few weeks and his contract situation, possibility of a move to Tigers. He's signed up here for another couple of years as Jan David crashes upfield and runs straight through Chris Cook. This is Nyanga, driven on by Uge. Good stuff from Toulouse. Nice quick ruck ball to work with as well. Medard, Clark, Picamol, met by Garvey. To Corey, at the back to McAllister and Johnston. Perhaps not the man lurking out wide they would have been hoping for, but a chance for Bath. There's the advantage too, as Toulouse infringe. Watson. Joseph. Delayed and delayed, and then the pass never came.
Well, sensible not to offload, because sometimes you give the offload, you get taken out by the tackler and you can't clear out the next man when he's tackled.
Cook to Banahan. Taken in. Medard. And a half-decent clearance away, at least allowing them a little bit of room to move.
Just seen Austin 3 times now, Bath trying to put the ball in behind that right wing of Toulouse. Certainly a tactic they look to have come into the game with in the back of their minds.
Yeah, Maydor's found himself out of position quite a few occasions, comes up into the line. I think it'd be very encouraging for Bath, and particularly the coaching staff, seeing how Toulouse are trying to play against them, throwing really long, aimless, wide passes. Makes it so easy to defend. Bath have just got to retain possession. They look good going forward. Until now, kiss of death.
Domday caught on the gain line. George Ford trying to create something. Garvey driven back in the tackle by Dusautoir. He's a machine when it comes to that particular job. Crossfield from Ford. Good chase from Aguja. Medar shakes him off. Uge. Handy little kick through. Ford isolated. And he's done well to feed that back under pressure. Oh dear. Nobody claiming it.
Well, the problem they had was Ford was at the bottom of that previous ruck, and then nobody took control of the blind side. Cook stands up expecting to be able to clear the lines. This is what you can't do. You can't drop off Maydard off the tackle, particularly Huge. They'll punish you. But then as Ford comes across, he does remarkably well to stay alive with the ball.
Brilliant work from Joseph, wasn't it? He had to work really hard to get back there and support, and then he managed to plug the dam until the rest of the support came.
Nice quick speedy ball, but some excellent speed of thought from Chris Cook, who's going to have to put the wheels on here. Clark is coming across. He's got the measure of him. Chris Cook scores a vital try for Bath from absolutely nowhere.
He must be a clairvoyant. He read that so well. Shot out the line. Great intercept. I'm sure a lot of the French will be thinking, was he onside? We'll get a better look of it. Maybe not from this angle. But the pass is telegraphed to him. He picks it out. Bath have got everything they deserve from the way that they've started this game.
And enough in the tank. Clerk was hurtling across as quick as he could, but Guinovez knows that is a hammer blow.
It's difficult, isn't it? If the ball's looped off the line out, the delivery of the line out's not sharp and crisp, and it comes down slowly. Obviously the scrum half has to keep his eye on the ball coming into his hands, and then he's almost starting the pass a little bit blind. And as Austin said, it just telegraphs it enough for Cook to read it. Didn't he read it well? The hold of the catch was good, and then angled his run perfectly to make sure no one could get to him.
That one sails wide from George Ford, but nevertheless the lead restored to something that amounts to trouble for Toulouse, and Chris Cook so quick onto that.
He almost had to look. He wasn't 100% sure where the man was he was passing to, Austin. He slowed his pass down just to try and find him.
Well, his key role there at the back of the lineup is actually to blitz Toby Flood, put him under pressure in his pass. But as Ben said, if you win ball at 2 and it doesn't come into the scrum half's hands very, very quickly, it's an incredibly hard pass to execute, even at the best of times. Cook read it, and Bath got the try.
Joe Takori has been stripped of the ball by Leroy Houston, and Webber's keeping it alive. Aguja. Bath intent on this fast-paced game that has paid dividends for them this season. Domday to Ford, lots of men over here. Eastman attacking the line at pace and throwing the dummy. Fabulous from Eastman. Banahan needs the power. He'll go with the offload. Joseph with the score. What a try from Bath. That's 3 in less than half an hour here at the Stade Ernest Vallon. They are carving Toulouse open.
Go on, Bath. That was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant rugby.
It's all made by Aguja. He'd tied in all the defenders with that extra carry, and they'd got short in their defensive line. And if you're short, the last people you want running at you is people with the footwork of Eastman.
How good is the pass again from Eastman to Banahan, and then the offload from the big man. Good support inside, as you said, Ben. Great play and strength by a one-winger Aguja, and sheer size and offload by the other. But it was that little decoy in the midfield. It set George Ford around the corner. You put Ford and Eastman in tandem, going forward, running onto the ball. I defy any defence in World Rugby to stop them consistently.
Brilliant stuff. They've been doing it with great regularity in the Premiership, transferring it now into Europe.
Do you think they could have the bonus point by half-time?
It's a possibility. Bath dominant away from home in France. Very different scenario, of course, to the last time they crossed the channel. The monsoon in Montpellier, these different conditions, and Eastman exploiting it. Banahan, the raw power, but the deft handling too. Jonathan Joseph with the finish.
And the support play. He had two options there, Banahan. But this is an area they're struggling with, the kick-off, the reception when they've scored those points. Can't be turning the ball over there.
Defensive work is strong. Houston driving back those black shirts, but George Clancy will go back for the scrum. And Toulouse, just maybe there's a sense that they feel their job is pretty much done in Pool 4. Wins against Montpellier here. Bath, of course, at the wreck, a narrow one, and then the back-to-back victories over Glasgow, putting them in pole position. They know that, barring something pretty extraordinary, they should be going through. Bath making life awkward. And taking it one thing at a time. Talking to Mike Ford a little bit before this match, he was just saying there's no point in trying to work out the various different permutations. We've just got to go and play. The maths are too complicated. You're in the hands of too many other teams. Get out there, get it done, see where it leaves you for the final round.
The only part of the maths that they have obviously had a chat about is that they need the bonus point, and that's the way they're going to play. They don't think it's going to be enough without the bonus point. We saw Leicester on Friday night against the Scarlets went out to play saying they needed the bonus point. And actually, when teams are doing that in Europe this year, they're playing a lot better.
So don't forget the Ospreys up against the Northampton Saints at 5:15 this afternoon, BT Sport 2. Simultaneously as well, 5:30 BT Sport Extra for Racing against Treviso. And the Rugby Tonight special, which is on Monday from 8 o'clock with a galaxy of stars, I think it's safe to say. All coming into town to entertain you all. This is Toulousain. Flood looking to find Jan David on the switch. He's done well, but he's been robbed of the ball. Good power in the carry, but carelessness in the handling. And Bath sensing maybe something's on here. Aguja round the outside. Bath again. Searing pace from the Bath back division. And Joseph is on for it, is he? It's Watson. 4 tries if he can get it down. Has he been held up?
Brilliant positioning from the referee, but I still think he wants to make sure. Fantastic break again from Bath, from their own, near enough their own line. And again, Francois Lowe with an unbelievable timed pass under pressure, releases Aguja, and then that quality of support play.
Ford saw the opportunity, didn't he, on the blind side. He saw that they were matched up. They got the ball to the outside, but does Watson get it down? Or does he bounce up? You can't see from there. I think Clark's got underneath him. No, it's a try. You've got to give that, haven't you, if you gave the driving maul one?
I think if anything, his own arm is holding it up.
The ball's down there. It's touched the floor. It's a try. It deserves to be anyway.
Did we hear the question from the referee? Because of course with the score from Toulouse, George Clancy made it clear that he believed he'd seen the touchdown. Very hard to make that out. No try this time. The bonus point will have to wait.
An opportunity though for the Bath front row now to really earn their corn. They have been getting a slight advantage. They've been able to get the side of the scrum up they want. Can they now go one step further and get the shunt on? At least get a bit of panic in that Toulouse back row to make sure they stay on if the ball comes out, either through a Leroy Houston carry or through Cook to Ford. They're lining up Ford behind, directly behind the scrum to not give away which side he wants to attack. Watson's in behind him as well.
Yep, keeping the cards close to their chest. Bath, you've got to remember as well where that attack started. It was on their own try line, essentially. Aguja freed up, but only with a yard or two to work in on that right-hand touchline. Ford edging to the open side, spilt by Cook, but the penalty.
Yeah, building the pressure, the ball spewed out, but only as Toulouse front row disappeared in front of Paul James's side. And they're going to take the points, Austin.
I cannot believe they're going to take the points. The scrum's on top. The back line is absolutely destroying them. Get the bonus point before half-time. You can put the subs on.
It's a weird decision.
Unless it's that sort of decision that they don't want to get too carried away with themselves. I know what you're saying. But actually, maybe they're thinking, maybe we do need a reality check. I agree. I would have gone for the scrum again at least.
Well, Toulouse on average concede no more than one try at home this season. 4 tries before half-time. You come out half-time, most of the people have gone home.
It's deathly quiet, that's for sure. And there'll be no mistake from the boot of George Ford. 25 points to 7. And there will be those who have travelled over here this afternoon who'll be blinking, rubbing their eyes, wondering if it's all real. It's real, all right. Toulouse are being caught on the hop. Domde did well to bat that back, but it's been gathered in by Nyonga. Toulousain. Toulouse really needs some sort of response as we head into the break. Bowling forwards, McAllister. Now Steenkamp into Davy Wilson. Flood. Johnston running the dummy line, and this is Jan David. Half through, Nyonga on the shoulder. Inside the 22 and threatening hard.
Francois Lowe with an unbelievable steal. Can his own players support him now to keep hold of the ball? Again, losing out there to Nyanga Dominic Day. He's got to own that space. He's having a good game defensively, but every time Bath score, they're turning over the ball and giving opportunities to this Toulouse team, who are carrying from the anger.
Well, they need to find a little bit of bite. Been found wanting defensively. No better opportunity than right here, right now, 15 metres out. There's Imanol Aranordaki, who's injured today, not part of the Toulouse equation. Picked up by Picamol. Uge finding a way through! Suddenly, Toulouse burst into life. Yoann Uge, who's been sensational this season, grabs the opportunity just before the break.
Well, they're forced to go down the blind side, Toulouse, by the work of Paul James, who went in at too much of an angle and created the wheel. Got away with it, but as you see, his whole back row have gone away, and it means that when Aguja gets done, there's nothing Garvey can do. He's got far too much to do. Look at that angle, all the Toulouse black shirts there, and no one there in a white shirt to make the tackle once that initial step was made.
Yeah, Cook has to go into Picamol, doesn't he, to stop him from running. And then Aguja just finds himself coming up a little bit too straight, a little bit too wide, making both sides an option for Uge. But Uge is a class rugby player. Very difficult to stop.
One's just a little bit too wide from Toby Flood. 25 points to 12. Yoann Uge making the most of his opportunities, as he tends to do. England, of course, suffered at his hands in that opening fixture of the Six Nations last year in Paris. A couple of awkward bounces of the ball, but Uge was right where he needed to be. 3 minutes to the break. Medar, let's fly.
Just think about that psychology, Ali. If they'd have gone for the try instead of that 3 points, we could be saying now that it is, what, 27, 28, 12. It's a big difference. You go in thinking, oh, we're only 13 points down. It's 2 scores different.
And also, again, keep harping on about the kickoffs. That kickoff really cost them, unable to hold any of their kickoffs so far.
Nice ball for Cook to field from Atwood. Stopped on the 10-metre line. And George Clancy is not happy with the speed with which they're releasing.
Well, if you want to see a textbook tackle off the back of a line out and someone coming forward, that is it. Stopped in your tracks, no go forward at all, allows your other back row members to get over the top. We heard Lawrence in the studio earlier talking about De Sautoir, a tackling machine. He certainly is.
Such an important part of what they've done down here over the last decade and more. Led the French team with distinction as well, of course, as Toulousain tries to break. And he's done well, and the crowd have suddenly found their voices. The drums are beating. The blood is flowing. De Sautoir is being manhandled there by Chris Cook. George Clancy doesn't like it.
He's absolutely right. The Toulouse players didn't like it either. Followed up on Cook, tried to rough him up as he went to ground. But again, Bath's so slow to put players in. I think he just wants a word about being calm after the whistle's gone. But Bath need to... There, they almost let the the momentum build, and then they tried to stop it in ones and twos coming in. You need to really commit. Yes, you have to keep your guards and the people protecting the fringes. But you have to get people in as a unit to stop that at source.
Essential points as far as Toulouse are concerned. Toby Flood on target, 10 points the difference. It's been a riveting first half, with Bath just carving open the opportunities with tremendous regularity. Tries from Banahan, Cook and Joseph put them firmly in front. 25 points to 15 at the break. All the analysis to come. Don't go away. Okay, mate.
It's a bit of a contest in the dark, huh? It's a bit opportune, isn't it? Ali. Yeah. Thanks. Huh? And Will. No, this is great.
Thanks, Craig. Well, we suspect that Guinovez will have had some choice words for his men during the half-time break. He's not renowned for measured responses in times of crisis, and I think this probably is categorised as one at the moment. 10 points down, and Bath continuing to play from deep within their 22, where of course they've created an awful lot already this afternoon. Joseph, one of the try scorers, one of the three, hacked through, opportunities again. Medar playing a dangerous game, and ultimately it's left for Picamol to do the tidying, and then Toby Flood took his eye off the ball, saw a bit of space in front of him.
Well, that's just the sort of thing that's going to get this partisan crowd going against their team. They weather the storm. Picamols does really well. They sense an opportunity to break, and the error from Flood. Really good chasing. Interesting, when Bath were playing side to side in their own 22, here's the Flood error. When Bath were playing side to side, Toulouse definitely have taken the brakes, or put the brakes on their line speed, and are drifting much harder in Bath 22. I think the lesson they've learned is when Bath are looking to attack from near their own line, don't give them opportunities for numbers to create an opportunity on the outside. Sacrifice some of the line speed and maybe a few metres on the outside, but to make sure we've got numbers in front of some of these players that have got good feet.
This left-hand attacking scrum is where Banahan comes into his own as a decoy runner. He's so big that you just can't help but notice him defensively. Bath have worked that out to their benefit, as we've seen all season back in the UK. And Eastman's always the key man in this. He's always the man who takes the ball to the line.
That's a decent shove from Toulouse. Bath in trouble. Houston on the back foot. Dusautoir all over him like a rash. Forward for Joseph. Chancing his arm. It's paying off. Joseph couldn't get it away. Maydar regathers. Another opportunity goes begging. And Flood tucks it away and finds Garvey. They're keen to crack on.
It's as though Joseph there needed one of the players outside him to make the decision for him. Cut a line, try and tie a defender.
Here he is again. And he's lost the ball, been stripped of it. Flood hacks through. George Ford hurtling back to tidy things up. They still want to play. And no more room. And again, Anthony Watson looks absolutely out cold.
And that player there is pretending he's out cold, and he's trying to get Aguja sent off. Disgraceful to take a dive like that. And you can see all the Bath players remonstrating with the physios, saying leave him. Aguja trying to plead.
Be very interesting to see what the French director decides to show us from this little situation.
That potentially one time that Ford should have cleared his lines.
Well, Flood comes in with what can be described as a reckless challenge. And that is just football all over it.
That is pathetic.
Oh dear.
Well, I think that the powers that be, the disciplinary committee, should look at that and they should act on it, because we do not want to see players taking dives. Just a little push in the chest and he grabs his face. That is pathetic.
He actually drops his shoulder at Huget to begin with. It's a penalty to Bath. Bath are crazy for trying to run it out from that situation rather than just clearing their lines. They did well to get back there.
Well, Clancy's seen it on the big screen. He should act on this.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Toby Flood's trying to rip his head off there.
He was already lying prone at the time. There was no need for any more. This should make for an interesting listen. So a penalty to Bath against Toby Flood, but absolutely nothing by way of punishment for the simulation from Yoann Huget, the histrionics.
Well, it's wonderful to see Huget back on his feet, looking remarkably unscathed now.
But like you said, Ben, it would set the tone if the IRB decided to do something about that. Occasionally you have to make a scapegoat of a situation, and he might be the one. You can't be doing that. You can't be falling on the floor. He gets out the first tackle, George Ford, but then he's standing still, Watson. He's got no chance of getting round Nyanga there on the outside.
So Watson goes off again for the second time in the match, and Ollie Devoto is having a second bite at the cherry. And it's been gathered in legally by Census Johnston, and Toulousain picks up and away they come. Steenkamp. Dom Day ready with the tackle. The advantage with the French side. Flood being afforded no room. Toulousain coming back on the loop. McAllister searching for the holes. Picamol doesn't tend to search for holes. Likes to punch them himself. I think they've been seriously rattled today, Toulouse, haven't they? Not just by the accuracy and the clinical passing, the pace of the Bath back division, but their intent really come here to have a crack.
I just wonder whether the top 14, we do see the home team winning the majority of their games. It's a big thing to win away, and as a result I think the away teams come here with a slightly more negative attitude, try and get that arm wrestle win. Maybe they're not used to teams coming to their home ground and really attacking them.
Something of a rarity, and they've been caught off guard today, but this is looking more promising. Crowd all around us are screaming for the penalty, which George Clancy does now give. It's Dave Atwood.
I'm surprised Clancy hasn't at least warned Paul James that if there's anything else around the driving maul play, it'll be a yellow card, because Bath haven't been squeaky clean in that area of the field, or that area of the game, and it's cost Toulouse dearly there. They felt they had an opportunity for the score, for the 5 points.
Animation from Guy Novez. 21 years here at Toulouse, 10 French titles, 4 Heineken Cups. He demands excellence. Flood is chipping away, coupled with the one that he landed just before the half-time break. Those are a handy 6 points. Change is about to be made by Mike Ford, Henry Thomas and Carl Ferns readying themselves.
Carl Ferns is coming on for Dominic Day, so Garvey will go into the second row, and certainly Henry Thomas is a more mobile, not as good a scrummager. Wilson absolutely outstanding in that department. Perhaps his job was just to try and take the legs out of the Toulouse front row, and then they bring a couple of more mobile players on to up the pace again.
McAllister. Again, Ford eager to crack on with it, but on this occasion taking the pragmatic route.
Well, that's exactly it, Ali. They've gone from being flamboyant, exciting, fascinating to watch, to now having to be pragmatic and make sure they try and ensure the win. There's that different in mindset that Ben's been speaking about. Come in here knowing you're going to give it a lash, throw it around. It gives you energy, it gives you a power, it gives you a sense of direction as a team. Now it's about control. Very different mindset for Bath.
And reminded of the match they played at the Rec against Exeter, where they threw it around with gay abandon in the opening half, and they brought on the extra power, the likes of Atwood, and the last 25 minutes, half an hour or so, they drove Exeter to death.
Yeah, ideal scenario here would be to get a penalty, but they have to break out. Banahan does really well to get that leg drive through the first challenge.
Here's Ford. Eastman, whose footwork has been causing problems for Toulouse all afternoon. Houston running straight into the traffic, and Nyonga getting a hand to the face for his trouble. Webber. Crowd thought that was forwards. George Clancy didn't. Ferns nicely to Ford out the back. This is Thomas.
Wonderful ball from Ferns to take the hit and the next player.
Clever little grubber through from Eastman. Medar in trouble. Uge. Yeah, and a good chase up there. Wise to it now. It's taken a while for them to cotton on.
Yeah, they really did cotton on to that, didn't they? Eastman sat back, wanted the defence to come forward onto him. Wondered where Ben had gone. But they didn't advance to him, and that meant that it was very easy for them to turn and retrieve what was a good kick.
Francois Lowe's been in terrific form recently. Try against Wasps last week. Man of the match against Gloucester as well last month. Good drive on here. Cook with the dive pass. Ford trying to release Devoto. Webber to Ferns. Toulouse up nice and flat and quick with their line speed. Low. Perfect presentation. Sort of presentation nines dream of. Forward again. Garvey battering his way through. Oh dear. Stripped by McAllister. Devoto. Playing with fire, I would suggest. Joseph caught by Uge. And eventually it is bashed away.
Bath look a totally different side when they have different levels of depth. They have a front flat line and then quite a big gap to the runners in behind. When they get flat in that attacking line, the line speed of Toulouse comes into play. But when they have that separation and they can make opportunities like that one, although they spill the ball, they're getting onto the front foot and they look so much more dangerous.
Flynn finds Dusautoir and McAllister raging over the 10-metre line and refusing to give it up.
What a turnover from Garvey. Not easy. I think he's 6'7", isn't he? So hard to get your body low. Watch how quickly he comes around now. He's over. He's in a good position. Loses the ball a little bit, but it's just that it appears to Clancy that he's got hold of it. They can't move him.
They're going to run this too. Devoto. Joseph. Got an awkward bounce. That might help Bath out. Medar is in trouble. Bath are swarming.
I'd suggest that Census Johnson isn't really appreciating the pace of this game. He has been walking around the centre spot of the pitch for that whole of the last phase.
Yeah, he'd probably be after something a little more sedate.
Borderline, isn't it?
Very much a borderline decision. Let off for the Frenchman. There's good distance on it from Flood, but it went into touch, and that's not very generous from the assistant referee on this near side. Crowd disgruntled. And they've had a topsy-turvy season, really. Toulouse, unbeaten as we've been describing in Europe, but they're lying 7th in the top 14 at the moment. Went through a very wobbly patch at one stage as Toulousain breaks free. The tackle will need to be a good one. Nyonga's on hands. Can he get it down? Ford makes the tackle. Was he underneath him?
You could have just seen the try-saving tackle of the season. Ford hits him and then gets the roll. When you hit someone in the air like that, you just try and clamp your body onto them, roll over and hope they land on top of you. Question is, has he done enough? And yes, he has. What a tackle that is.
Well, there are plenty who are quite quick to isolate George Ford as a weakness in the defensive line. When you see him making hits like that and having the wherewithal to roll and get underneath the ball, that's high class.
It's lifting that left leg, isn't it, so that he remains in contact with the ball. Brilliant. Does he get it there? You just see underneath.
I just think if you don't give Anthony Watson's try, there's no way you can give that try.
Right decision from Simon McDowell.
Well, Bath would have been so upset if that try had been scored, because it came the break from really good work defensively. Dominic Day ripped the ball out, and as a result it just bounced, unfortunately, straight into the hands of Toulousain with a clear pitch in front of him. So it would have been a really harsh call, having defended so well at the line out, for Toulouse to benefit.
Ross Batty on at hooker for Rob Webber. Scored against Toulouse back in October at the Rec. He's been in great form this season as well, really pressurising Webber for his spot. And Patricio Albacete is on for Joe Takori. Bags of experience. 2 Heineken Cups behind him in his 9th season here, the Puma. Big moment this.
Oh, take a bow, those new boys in the front row who've come on. Use those fresh legs. Batty and Thomas, and obviously the work of Paul James is still in there from the start.
Well, we've spoken about it a lot in the Premiership, the fact that they've now got that strength and depth on the bench, on the front row, particularly. Autorak is waiting for his turn as well at the moment, but he, along with Batty and Thomas, really keeping James Webber and Wilson honest.
Well, the timing's really good, isn't it? Thomas just got a shade of an angle, but enough not to be spotted by the referee, and he can pincer in on Flynn in the hooker spot for Toulouse. Put all the pressure through him.
So here is Nick Autorak, the youngster, just 22, replacing the old-timer Paul James, who of course is heading back to the Ospreys next season. Toulouse win the ball. Little injection of pace from Luke McAllister. Flood to Flynn. Flood. The inside ball for Médard. Poitrenaud onto the field in the pristine shirt wearing 22. McAllister for Nyonga. Picamol. Autorak makes the hit. Johnston seems to be doing a lot of work at scrum half at the moment as Dusautoir carries it on. Steenkamp.
You look at the Toulouse team, they've got no width at all until now. The back's trying to give them some width.
Flood.
Isolates Floody though.
Very well caught by Henry Thomas and others. Médard looking inside rather than out. This is Poitrenaud. Another with ridiculous European and international pedigree. Auger knocks it on. And Chris Cook gathers it in for Bath. A lot of huff and puff. And not a huge amount of result from the home side.
They look a little bit rattled, don't they? It's a little bit of hesitation, some good running lines. They can't hold the ball. Picamol's looking dangerous when he gets an opportunity to pick a line, get ahead of steam up. But the line speed from Bath still good.
It's been a bit of a story of Bath season though, Ben, hasn't it, so far? They're getting to halfway through the second half and they sort of have a bit of a lull. They drop off their tempo. They're unable to control proceedings. We saw it in Montpellier. We're seeing a little bit here today. If Bath are going to become the champion side that they want to be, this is an area of the game where they have to address. Get that control back, get that high tempo back, and the sides won't live with them.
It's not popular. Batty there having to try and strike the ball with his knee. Couldn't get his foot to it. They tried to drive over it, but in driving they both sheared off towards that left-hand touchline. See the angle straight away towards the touchline. There's Batty trying to strike it with his knee.
Don't forget the match from Swansea coming up later on this afternoon on BT Sport between the English champion Saints and the Ospreys. Big one from Pool 5. Plenty still to be decided here as Chris Cook fires it away. Toulouse have taken the line out and Medar is setting off at a rate of knots. Poitrino. Real urgency now about what they're doing. They've realised the clock is ticking. 7 points the difference, but they've been outplayed really throughout the hour. Dusatoir sets the target. Poitrino. McAllister. Medar. Trying to catch out the Bath defenders with a change of pace, but they were having none of it. And again, it's stumped downfield back inside the Toulouse half. Picamol. Chris Cook rather handily blocked there by Patricio Albacete.
Kyle Eastman is down as well with what looks like a stinger, if not worse. Tried to compete and jackal over a ruck, and I think Picamol, well, he Picamoled him.
Starting to get a bit more fluidity. Toulouse and control the tempo of the game, which they haven't been able to, but those little basic disciplines around the contact area are costing them at the moment. They're spilling a lot of ball. Obviously been listening to you, Austin.
That is me, Ben, listening to you.
So Kyle Eastman still receiving the attention at the moment as Bath try and make the most of their penalty, and they will have a line out some 15 metres out from the try line.
Well, actually really important that they use this to stay down in this area now, take a bit of the heat off. They've been defending in their own half for a while, and they want to try and build down here. Six-man line out, no surprise. Drop Cook back. Use Ferns, potentially no, it's going to be Lowe who's there at first receiver, so he can step in, latch onto the ball.
Through the fingertips of Atwood, gobbled up by Picamol. The exit from Toulousain. And testing one for Banahan. Forward. Dusatoir underneath this, but Medar coming through, taking it nicely. Flood. Guthrie Steenkamp nearly through the hole. Atwood strips him of it. Again. And away it goes through Garvey and Batty. Some slick handling here from the forwards. And Banahan is trying to make the most of things, and Medar is back in time.
I'll tell you what, Banahan controls that kick and puts it directly in front of him and keeps it in the field of play, then he's got an opportunity. He was one-on-one with Picamoles, and Banahan's got the pace to go past the big number 8. Unfortunately, he kicked it too far towards Medar.
The tackle and strip from Dave Atwood on Guthrie Steenkamp, setting up the position. And it is Atwood who's making way for the club skipper Stuart Hooper, who hasn't trained a huge amount this week. Ollie Woodburn onto the field as well. So a bit of juggling going on now in the back division.
Perhaps Hooper brought on in the forwards.
Eastman coming off.
A couple of line-outs gone awry when they needed to secure the possession. Hooper comes on, he's a tactician, should be able to find a bit of space, been put under a lot of pressure by Toulouse in that department.
Low. Forward, beautifully to Devoto. Just kept himself hidden for long enough to deceive those Toulouse defenders. Houston carries it on. Forward looking to find Banahan charging through. The advantage is with them. A lot of self-policing going on out there. A lot of self-refereeing going on as Batty bursts forwards again. 10 metres out. Cook. Low. Did so well to keep that alive. And the intercept. This is a long way to go for a very big man. And Picamol is going to need the use of the boots. Woodburn is chasing. Woodburn is claiming. Vitally for Bath. Jan Uge was waiting to pounce. The counter-ruck is strong from the home side. They've won the ball.
He's saying that Toulouse drove that ruck forward. Picamol's knowing he didn't have the pace, leaves it as long as possible. Woodburn's going to try and get the mark, realise he doesn't get there, wins the ball well. Are they not back at the ruck here? Looks fairly stationary to me, Austin.
I think you could argue on both ways though. Toby Flood, like he had a decent grip on the ball. Could so easily been a penalty to lose there.
Was another good read, wasn't it? You saw one from Chris Cook in the opening half for Bath. Picamol latched onto that nice and quick, but was never really going to have the legs to carry him all the way.
Does really well, doesn't he, to stand up in the contact.
Yeah, the ball clearly could have gone anywhere as well. Uge was ready to make the most of any wacky bounce. So Corey Flynn is now okay.
Bath will be thinking back roughly about 10 minutes. Scrum exactly the same position. Great attacking platform for Toulouse. And they drove them back over the ball.
Change at scrum half made by Guy Novez. Yano Famak onto the field for Jean-Marc Toussaint.
It's not for Toussaint, it's
not
for
for
Toby
Toussaint,
Flood.
it's for Flood, who's is coming off. So
Toussaint can play 10, can't he? He's a handy 10. That little petit general, as the French call them.
Very comfortable in either half-back position, and they are all lined up to the open side. The short side to the left is a big open space. Uge, the only man lurking directly behind the scrum.
It's a good scrum. Really good scrum from Henry Thomas.
Same position, same result.
They just sheared Steenkamp. You saw Steenkamp's hips just fly out. Thomas just split him and Corey Flynn. There you can see, you just can't hold him. Absolutely fantastic drive.
And George Ford makes them pay.
I think Alterac had a big part to play in that scrum as well. I've been so impressed with him this season.
Developing fast, isn't he? Neil Hatley, of course, in charge of the big man up front. There's Julian Galan. Toulouse replacing one giant with another. Picamol off. Galan, who's had rather limited rugby this season, certainly in Europe, offering a whole lot of ballast.
Picamole's been Toulousa's best player by about 50%. I'm amazed they've taken him off.
Changing the front row as well as the Georgian loosehead Vasil Kakovin replaces Gerthro Steenkamp.
Good patience from Bath up front. Boys at the front having to work very hard. Now they need to break. The referee saying it's the same maul. Toulouse choosing to leave it.
Bath content that they are still making headway as eventually Houston goes to ground. Forward. This one's aimed for Banahan. Decent tap down. Toulouse will try to make something of it, but not with passing like that. Toulousain sensing an opportunity, maybe. That's high. That's too high from Banahan. It'll be the penalty, certainly. The crowd want more.
Well, he'll do very well to escape a yellow card here. Maybe Clancy would like to have another look at it, but again, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, reasonably.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's not. He's just killed me. I'm going to lie down like I've been shot. It's not anywhere near as bad as that. He's hit him high. He's a lot taller than him, and he hasn't sort of gone from low to high with the swinging arm. He's come over the top of him, so it doesn't feel as bad.
I think he might do well to stay on the pitch here for this. Yeah, it looks worse from that angle too.
Well, it looks bad from all angles.
Census Johnston making way for Kisipulu, the Tongan international, signed from Perpignan last summer. Still going strong at the age of 36.
I have to say I'm very, very surprised that Banahan's got away without a yellow there.
Nothing more than the penalty. Barely a talking to.
I think the crowd are giving him a bit of a talking to.
I think we have an idea
on that left
what
wing.
they feel about it. Galan made such a big impression on so many people when Saracens played Toulouse at Wembley a season or two ago. This is Albacete. Famak, the South African, digging away. McAllister did well to keep that alive. Toulousain back in the mix.
Big shots coming in from the Bath back row. Garvey, fantastic turnover.
Still having to work hard to secure it cleanly. Cook is digging.
That was a penalty for Bath because the man on the floor was holding it with his legs, trying to delay the ball coming back on the Bath side.
An option there for Houston to release it a little bit quicker than he did. Instead, took the contact, and here goes Woodburn. Ferns. Forward for Aguja, who began this match in the style that Bath intended to continue. That scything break in the opening couple of minutes. Hooper brushing off the tackles. Devoto, lovely handling. Ferns, Garvey riding the hits. Ford, Bath ticking nicely. Joseph for Batty. Still to the short side they go. Banahan. Touch. They look comfortable though, Ben, don't they, at the moment, Bath? When Toulouse are attacking, they're handling it.
Exactly, and when they've got the ball, they look comfortable regardless of where they are on the field. They don't panic if they get half caught in the tackle. They try and get two hands on the ball and get it released. That's really good from Ferns. And then Garvey with the extra leg drive again. And what they have done is made Toulouse stop defending with the line speed they want to.
Leroy Houston taking a little while to get to his feet, and we also have Horacio Gouja having his ankle taped up. Crowd are anxious because they know time is against them.
Bath can ride out these next 2-3 minutes. Stay down here. Toulouse are going to have to start really chasing the game, taking bigger risks, and the opportunity for Bath to capitalise on a mistake and get that vital next score.
Francois Lowe through the hands of Devoto, and Joseph again looking to conjure something miraculous, which he seems to have done. Brilliant from Jonathan Joseph. This could be one of the all-time great scores. It's Batty. It's brilliant from Bath. It's Francois Lowe with the try. Jonathan Joseph has conjured something extraordinary.
Oh, Joseph's just been superb all game. But this is absolutely awesome. The step, the hitch kick to get away from a pacey fullback like Maydar, and then the angle and the cut from Batty, and he doesn't gamble. Batty, he knows there's going to be support, as there has been for Bath all game, and Francois Lowe makes sure he rounds it off in style. But what a piece of individual brilliance from the outside centre.
And two fantastic passes. Both guys had the potential to go all the way themselves. They backed their teammates. You want a little England audition a couple of days before a squad's named, that's how you do it.
It does beg the question, can England really do without a man who has those kind of capabilities?
He had no right there. The defensive line in front of him was numbered up. He had two men on top of him. He'd have gone all the way and scored himself. Would have been in the top 5 best tries I've ever seen in my life.
It would have been interesting to see him back himself as well, because I think he had a fair old shot at making it over the line himself, but he was unselfish. And George Ford looks to add the extras, which he has done. Surely the result is assured now. That, remember, the bonus point for Bath, their 4th of the afternoon. Special.
It's the balance, isn't it? The balance, the pace, the understanding of the players around you, and then the showboating at the end.
Fabulous try to round off what has been, from Bath, an exhibition of excellence.
Yet again, though, they haven't taken the restart.
Stringer onto the field now for Bath. Space being opened up here for Uge. Still going, and Bath holding firm at the moment, deciding not to commit to the tackle. Galan. Offloading game is good. Meda. Uge being shown the outside by Woodburn. Callister to Albacete. Flat defensive line, nice and quickly up onto those black shirts. Poitrenaud looking to puncture the defences. Medard, they've got it covered. Noticeable how quickly they get to their feet again, Bath, when they're on the defensive duty, and that was a pile driver of a hit from Leroy Houston. Superb.
And Batty as well, and Batty's ability to attempt to get back to his feet after he's been one half of the two-man hit, knock him on his back, and then Batty tries to get back to his feet, and that's what causes those support players coming in to knock the ball out and give Bath the put in.
If Bath do go on to win this game, which it looks like they will, I'm sure you'll hear Mike Ford after the game saying the impact that his bench have had. Batty, Thomas, Autorak at scrum time have been very, very impressive, and then around the field as well. Defensively, really up the game for Bath, up the intensity.
They've got the all-court game, haven't they, essentially? All the ingredients to play in a number of different ways. They know the way they like to play. They know that fast-paced offloading game, the crisp handling works for them, but they've got the power and the ability to keep it tight, the ability to suck in the defenders too.
Actually, and one of the, I mean, this has been a stunning performance, and if they go on to see it out, probably one of the best European performances. Not many teams have come and so comprehensively beaten a team like Toulouse away from home. But they've done it. Their driving play hasn't been to their usual high standard, but they've been able to overcome that obstacle. The kick-off receipts haven't been good enough, but they've been able to overcome them. It's just had that belief in the way they're going to play.
Toulouse getting the better of them at scrum time on this occasion, and then shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, a little help from Stringer. Stringer came round, read the situation, saw the threat very, very quickly. Used a lovely little judo throw. To take Galan to the floor quickly.
What a match-up between Stringer and Galan.
Yeah.
Still apparently among the very fittest in the squad at the age of 37, Peter Stringer.
Just going back to that style of play you were talking about before, Ali, I just think that Bath, when they don't play as well as they can, they get caught between the two. They think, right, let's control proceedings first half, and then let's wait and see what happens, and then maybe we'll open it up. When they turn up and decide to try and turn sides to shred straight away, they're irresistible. They're very, very difficult to play against. And maybe that is the benchmark for them. Turn up and see if other sides can stop them rather than them stopping other sides.
That's a much more powerful, effective scrum. It's been really interesting to see the development of the team as well. Talk about the styles and the way Mike Ford and his coaching staff, Toby Booth and Darren Edwards, Neil Hatley, the way they want to play. Largely been able to stick to their guns. On occasions they've come unstuck, haven't they? And they've yet to register a really big win on the road in the Premiership. Defeats to Northampton Wasps and Leicester away from home. Only Toulouse have beaten them at home this season. On this kind of form, they're not only giving themselves a sniff of a quarter-final place. If they continue this kind of calibre of rugby, they have to be contenders for the Cup as a whole. A lot to attend to in the short term, of course, but the belief that they will get from this victory surely will stand them in excellent stead. Toulousain takes it quickly. Dusautoir carries it on. McAllister, ouch! Carl Ferns in concert with Matt Garvey, absolutely flattening him. Meda. Again, the big wrap tackle from Leroy Houston. Huge back row performance this afternoon from Bath. Clerk, who's been kept very quiet today. Dusautoir. Jonathan Joseph getting down and dirty on the defensive work as well. Toulousain. Uge, ever willing.
Oh, brilliant by Francois Lowe. And it's just that hunger of the Bath team now. They know they've won it. They don't want to give Toulouse an opportunity to get the bonus point, but it's more than that. They're enjoying this performance and they want to go out with a bang defensively as well. Out-muscle one of the real strong European teams. That's just an Exocet hit, isn't it? Two big men, and neither of them pull back. Ferns, and the work of Garvey was the main shoulder he felt, I think.
A real scrap for the ball on that line out. Yeah, that was the fingers of Stuart Hooper. But less than a minute to play. And Bath closing in on a famous moment.
And these are the games that when you're old and you're retired like me and Oz, you remember. Not necessarily the big finals that you're playing and things, but it's these where you were unfancied to get the result. You stuck together. And this is the game that they'll remember when they look back on their careers.
Well, it's the game that will potentially take them into the knockout stages. Without this bonus point, it was up in the air. Now all they've got to do, it's back in their hands. They win at home. They should go through, either as top of the group or second.
Yeah, giving themselves a great chance, haven't they? Toulouse on 16 points. Bath will move to 15. Glasgow 14. And the Scots in town next weekend at the Rec. Toulouse, of course, have an away match against Montpellier next Sunday at 2 o'clock. And a last big statement from Bath. Celebration all round. Just a little idea of what it means to them to finish like that.
That's the power, isn't it? And to those guys, that is better than a 90-metre try.
It's not actually better than a 90-metre try, though, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's not. It's not even better than a 9-metre try.
Well, they got the chance to drive the knife in one last time through the boot of George Ford, who's controlled operations very nicely this afternoon, manipulated the defences as he always likes to do, freed up the men on the outside of him. The Eastman Joseph axis has worked nicely, plenty of ball for the likes of Banahan and Aguja. It's the final act. A stunning win to breathe life into the Bath campaign. They have run the 4 times European champions ragged on home turf. A bonus point away from home for Mike Ford's men sets them up for a brilliant shootout.